Civil division deals with a lot of volatile child custody and domestic violence issues. Community development has its irate customers when the sheriff's driver license encounters some angry customers, and occasionally as they go through the system, they'll pop up with outstanding arrest warrants. So there's a kind of a security problem that you need to be, that the awareness has been heightened about over time. And it suggests, I know there are legal and there are policy decisions, but it suggests that there may come a time when secured, screened metal detection entrance would come to be the way you get in and out of this facility. And we need to think about that in the master planning, even though we're not saying implement it because of those other security policy decisions and legal decisions that have to precede that. Addressing facility problems, we did so on the functional side by sending out questionnaires to all of the 19 departments, and we got very exhaustive responses from them, cataloging all of their deficiency problems, and in an itemized way, we tried to, just one at a time, say, well, if you've got this problem, like there isn't any employee lounge space or something like that, the staff lounge is now gone, then here's the solution to that. But after marching through all of that, what this master plan did was kind of generate comprehensive solutions to that rather than a problem-by-problem solution. But one of the recurring problems that just manifested itself in all of the departments, no matter which one we talked to, was the lack of parking spaces. There are currently on the campus these couple of blocks, 397 parking spaces. And if you add all of the overlapping needs of the various departments and take literally what was requested, they are requesting over 1,200 spaces. But as we step back to look at that, we said there is probably a lot of overlap, and targeted 800 spaces as the realistic need, which would roughly double the spaces that you have right now. And there are also service parking, delivery routing, and security parking issues that come with that are not addressed on this site. It's kind of a wide open, free-for-all parking system present. And the master plan suggests that parking ought to be a little bit better organized. In building and grounds, there's no current on-campus facility except a fenced parking area that's up on this other part of the campus. And this forces the rental of expensive outside shop space and whatnot. And commissioners are in the process of kind of remedying that as the phase 1 implementation of this master plan. We'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to get a sip out of my water bottle, excuse me. And then finally, a couple of other off-site locations. The elections building really doesn't have any physical building or site shortcomings, but it is a high-end energy consumer with minimal insulation. But otherwise, pretty functional for the purposes housed there. The Post Falls Vehicle Licensing Building is another one we looked at and has no significant building or site shortcomings. It has a little bit of, it's a little bit cramped for some of the uses that are there, but nothing significant at this time. So, suggesting facility solutions, as I remarked earlier, one of the biggest problems is sort of the fragmentation and decentralization of all of the justice facilities. That is, juvenile justice is off campus about 4 or 5 blocks away. The public defender's building is at the south end of the campus, and it causes a lot of shuttling back and forth. And so what the master plan is suggesting is building a new 6-story structure, 67,000 square feet gross size, projected to cost about $21 million. It would be physically connected to both the present Justice Building and the courtroom building, and solve all of that fragmentation. It would bring into it the juvenile justice facility, all of those facilities over there, and it would have within it enough capacity for two 2 additional statute mandated courtroom facilities and all of their accessory spaces. In addition, what it would do in the lower level is provide the holding facility and delivery facility for offenders. And we would expand that to have 2 Sally ports for adult offenders, and separate from that we would have 2 Sally ports for juvenile offenders. And they would have their independent pathways managed by the bailiffs to come through the building and up into this building, or have pathways via skywalks or direct connections to the other courtrooms. So it unifies all of those justice facilities in one location and captures all of the savings of the inefficiencies that you're now suffering to the tune of over $400,000 a year by shuttling amongst these various fragmented facilities. It reunites the civil division with the prosecuting attorney, the 2 mandate courtrooms, in-building secure delivery path for prisoners. And on the north end of it, it would centralize public ingress for screening too, so you wouldn't have these multiple screening places. It envisions a large lobby on the north side with multiple pathways and metal detection lines, so that folks can come in and then into the central building and branch out to the other buildings. The public can freely find its own egress circulation path to all of those destinations too. So it would, that's part of the savings calculated by the auditor. The proposed new parking garage, there are a couple of options that we're looking at. This would be in this option 1, we have a 6-story parking garage, and it has a south deck that sort of extends to the south over the footprint area of the public defender's building, and creates a terrace that is on grade with this primary parking right out in front of the administration building. So it sort of unifies all of this for easy, intuitive access for the public in this parking facility, and then overflow parking for staff and for those justice events that seem to invite a lot of parking and county patrons onto this site, jury selection and whatnot, can overflow into the parking garage. In addition, we're showing new parking across the street as well. But anyway, the aggregate, this is the main solution to getting the parking count up into the 800 neighborhood target that we had identified as the need. The overall site in this scenario would be approximately 805 cars. It has potential synergy, serving the county during the work week and providing overflow parking for city events on evenings and weekends. The cost is $9.1 million, or about $15,581 per parking space. And we really think that this is the best option planning-wise, because it integrates the south toe of the campus better visually, topographically. I think it'll be less congested in the kind of the county patron customer parking area. It gives a little more elbow room in this area for the vehicle registration activities, where sometimes they'll bring in larger vehicles that would be reorganized under this master plan. And essentially just kind of gives you more means and opportunity to solve all of the parking options. And notice too that what it does is begin to frame an area right here in the middle, surrounded by buildings, Justice Building, new Justice Facility, and the Administration Building. And within this area, what we envision is a gate over here, and through that gate would be the secure delivery of the juvenile and adult offenders to the underbelly of this building. And over here would be a security gate too for county access only. And there's a number of county service and delivery vehicles, most of which could be housed in here. And in addition, if there are overflow county vehicles, judges parking and whatnot, those could be on a dedicated floor, county-only parking within the parking garage. And other floors would be available for public parking. The proposed new parking option number 2 just builds